What's up guys, Jack here with MTS, and today we're going to be talking about some of the best ways to hide cables in apartments, homes, and businesses. So, let's get started. Now, when you're talking about running cables in a business or a home and you're trying to go through the walls, you have a number of ways where you can actually do your terminations. You can do them into a keystone wall plate or into a wall biscuit. Now, this is my office that I've been starting to build out, and I canceled it. Full video coming soon, but in here, I've been using wall biscuits. Now, the reason why I went with the wall biscuits was because on camera, I didn't want you to see cables coming down the wall behind me. I wanted all of my cables to happen on the floor. So we went with wall biscuits here. However, when it comes to running wires through the walls and using wall boxes, keystone wall plates, all of that stuff, Tom Lawrence did a fantastic video about this a couple years back. I'll leave that link down in the description where he built a transparent wall so you can see what you're actually doing throughout that process. So I'm gonna leave that up to him to tell you guys, so check the link down in the description below. But let's talk about running these wall biscuits and a few places where you can actually run cables. When it comes to a building like this, I have two main ways that I can run my cables. Starting off with the first one, and in my opinion, the easiest, the attic. Running cables up to the attic can be a really easy way to get them out of sight. You probably already have an attic access hatch in your home or business, so being able to get up there, run all your cables cleanly out of the way is super nice. The second approach that we can use for running cables is to go underneath. Now, this is beneath my office, which is the area that we're using for storing all of the furniture and everything before our new house gets fully constructed. So I have a drop ceiling here. I can just run cables through the ceiling down here and pop up into the wall biscuits, and that's how I have all of the cables wired for the office. I have a few things that go through wall plates, not in the office, but everything that's in the office itself runs through the ceiling down here. So, we have two main ways to run cables in office buildings and in homes. Now let's talk about ways to cable manage cables if you can't run them in an attic or a ceiling. Now, here at my apartment, I've had to employ a variety of various different strategies to hide the cables. I can't run cables in any form of attic, and I can't go under the floor, so I had to do the next best thing. Keep them managed and out of the way, and go under the carpet. When we start talking about running cables under the carpet, that's when it becomes very important to use the right tool for the job, or in this case, the right cable for the job. Now, if I were to run a standard installation, 1,000-foot bulk spool cable under the carpet, you're gonna notice. That's gonna be a thick cable that's gonna create a bump. You're gonna feel that under your feet. You're gonna feel that if you try and drag a piece of furniture across it. You're gonna know that that cable is there. So to minimize that, I use Monoprice Slim Run cable. Monoprice Slim Run cable is very, very thin, and it's thin enough that you don't notice it under your feet. I've had cables running under this carpet since I moved in over a year ago, and no one has any idea. You can't feel them, you don't know that they're there, they just kind of disappear into the carpet, which is great. Now, don't do what I did and buy black cable and try and blend it into a white environment. Again, buy the right tool for the job. I should have gone with white cable, but let's talk about how to fix that. This is a great example of a 5-foot away job. Now, yes, my camera is a lot further away than 5 feet, but you get the point. It doesn't have to look good up close, so long as from a distance it looks fine. There's a cable running right there. This is the line that feeds my outdoor access point. It actually feeds a USW flex that then feeds the access point in a security camera, but yeah, this is the line that goes out to my balcony. This hole was already here, I just put a wall plate on it and terminated a cable to it that goes right outside, but I needed to get this into the rest of my network. So I have a Slim Run cable going down here, and then the cable just gets white electrical taped along the bottom of the window. And you can still open the doors just fine. A better, more permanent solution to this, say you live in a house, but it's a slab house, so you don't have a basement, you don't have, access to the ceiling, so you need to get cables around your room. Well, companies have started making replacement trim. You peel off your trim, put on this new trim, pop off the faceplate of the new trim to expose a cable channel. So you can run all of your cables around your room in this new trim, put on the faceplates, and cables disappear. So if you need to get networking from one end of your room to the other end, or even snaking between rooms, you can use the trim to get around a room and then use Slim Run cable and pop out and go under the doorway to get into another room. Now, this is really only a cost-effective option if you are doing this in a home, not really an apartment, seeing as, well, replacing the trim is probably not something you're going to be looking to do in an apartment, so this is more so a last resort for slab homeowners, which this is a heck of a lot better than running power line adapters, which were the previous, like, worst case scenario. So now lastly, we need to talk about, well, do the cables even need to be hidden? Is it that important that the cables are out of the way? Are you willing to spend that money on it? Are you willing to cut the holes in your walls, to buy the trim, to run it in the attic, or do you just need the cables out of your way? For the entryway of my apartment, hiding the cables wasn't really a concern, but people tripping over them was, so gaff tape. Running across the entryway to my bedroom, underneath the transition strip, I used to have tucked away 2 Monoprice Slim Run cables. However, to run 10 gig, I couldn't use the Monoprice Slim Run cables at 150 feet. So I had to run a new cable, and I had to just tape it. It wouldn't fit underneath the transition strip, so it's just taped in place. And again, I don't even notice it. All of the cables that feed my setup in my room, they run through corrugated tubing into my closet where all of my network stuff is. Now, a few notes with hiding cables using tape is that you want to make sure you're getting the right tape for the job. Electrical tape is awesome, especially on metal, because it doesn't really leave a ton of residue, and on a metal surface, you can clean that off. That's where the white electrical tape is hiding my cables. The cable that goes up to my TV that runs under the carpet. This was previously white E-taped to the wall. I need to replace that tape. I replace it every 6 months in order to make it not super gooey, but that's really all I have to do. And I'm using good premium Pro Gaff gaff tape to cover the cables in my entryway. Speaking of which, Mother, how big of an issue has the cables being taped here been?
Never an issue.
Don't even notice them?
No.
No, because we come in and we live our lives. Now, wrapping things up, a few honorable mentions. We have to talk about the cable channels that you can get on Amazon or at Home Depot. Cheap, inexpensive cable raceways that can stick to the walls. They can be screwed in and hide a bunch of cables. Personally, I'm not a fan of the look of them, so I choose to stay away from them, but to each their own, and really at the end of the day, it's about finding a solution that works best for you, best for hiding the cables in your environment. What are you and your people okay with? But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like. If you really liked it, want to see more of me in your subscription feed, then you can go ahead and get subscribed. I'll have links down in the description to where you can take a look at some of the products that I talked about in this video. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.